how do you handle unsupportive people in your life? You know the type. People who sipping on that haterade. There's some bad advice around this. I think people are way too quick to jump to the conclusion of anyone is unsupportive of you, cut them out of your life completely. Ditch them, they're low vibe, they're not good for you. That only works with people you have a superficial relationship with. You know them a week, you decide they're not good for you, cut them out, that's fine. But what do you do if it's like deeper? Because let's be real, you don't always choose the people who are in your life, i.e. family. I got some personal experience with this. In fact, I'll kick this first point off with a bit of a story. There's someone my girlfriend and I know in our hometown, and it's someone we can't really cut out. Every time we hang around her, it seems that there's something wrong going on. Bring up work, always fires she's gotta put out. Don't you even dare bring up current events. You're gonna get a 20-minute rant. So when I was analyzing the behavior of this specific person, I realized that she had an unconscious pattern that she was playing, where she bonds with people over negativity. This is very common. Let me explain. Okay, I know you've seen this like a million times, but stay with me here. This is very important to set the context for everything we're gonna talk about. Low emotions, medium emotions, good emotions. People are somewhere on this scale. Their default vibration. You can see at the bottom, shame, guilt, jealousy, fear. Then you move into higher ones, aliveness, joy, peace, and love. This person is not operating out of peace, love, acceptance. When you analyze their vibration, it's much lower. So here's the thing. If someone is like in a chronic state of guilt or depression, which calibrates down here, them bonding with you over negativity, oh, that's so crazy what's going on in the world. Oh, isn't this BS? Oh, outrage, is actually their way of raising their vibration. Because even if they're talking about something fearful, it's still better than not feeling anything at all. So when they're in a state of outrage, that's actually raising them up. And the only reason it seems negative to you is because you might be up here or somewhere in the middle. And so it literally sucks you down. And that's why you feel depleted by some of these people. Does that make sense? And so I think the very first thing I would say is that start with compassion. Sometimes these negative people, if you can't cut them out of your life, they're just operating in a lower frequency. I've never seen someone who's super low vibe be super successful like that. And if they are, it's short-lived because they'll self-sabotage or they're miserable. And what's the point of having success if you're miserable in the process? So where do you start with unsupportive people? You start in the vibration of compassion. And it's hard to do, I get it. Sometimes it's hard to be the bigger person. Once I analyze the vibration of that person I was telling you about earlier, that's her way of bonding, that's her frequency. It allows you to put this metaphysical barrier between you and them. You won't get sucked down as much once you're operating from a state of compassion. Let's dive deeper into the psychology of haters or unsupportive people. Second thing you can do. On the coaching calls, we work with a lot of people who want to get started either posting content or in entrepreneurship, but they're so scared to post because of people watching them and people essentially rejecting, talking crap behind their back. Maybe they have family members. What are you doing? Why are you posting that? What, you're gonna be a health coach? Stop making those cringy reels and TikToks. This fear is rampant and it holds so many people back from doing good work. Speaking from someone who gotta flex a little bit, gotta celebrate your wins. The whole journey of creating content and finding your voice takes crap tons of repetition. Your first 100 videos are gonna be absolute cringe. Yeah, people might talk crap about you. Get this through your head that regret is scarier than rejection. When people are hating or unsupportive, it's just a projection. And what do I mean by this? Well, let me tell you another story. About 2 years ago, I made a video on the ultimate guide to chakras. Had over 1 million views, people seemed to love it, but one person really didn't like it. So I opened my computer one day and I scroll through my email inbox, my personal one, and I see an email there titled something like chakras. I try my best to not read like hate comments or angry DMs or anything if I sense it's going a certain way. I'm human, it affects me sometimes just like everyone else. But it was so juicy I couldn't help it. I read the whole thing word for word, man. Just scrolling through like a 300-word essay. The gist of it was something along the lines of, you can't even pronounce chakras. She went on to say, as a healer, you talking about this publicly when you can't even pronounce it is doing a disservice. Mind you, that's like literally my whole channel is taking more esoteric ideas and making them practical and relatable and fun. Getting sucked into it. Anyway, her email kept reading, and as it got deeper and deeper, she started talking about how she's a healer. She's been doing this work for over 20 years. When she sees people like me posting these videos that get millions of views and inspire people, she was viewing it as a shortcut. That was a psychology going on in conversation in her mind. She was treating it like a zero-sum game. Somehow my videos were taking away attention from her. What's the emotion? Jealousy. Not jealous of my Adonis physique or my sarcastic, dry humor, but jealousy because when you post yourself, you're giving permission for other people to post themselves. but they have their own fear and their own battles going on in their mind. And so maybe they're not as evolved, or they're not watching videos like this, or they're not into this kind of 2.0 development work like you are, and they hold themselves back. So when you put yourself out there, it subconsciously communicates to other people that it's okay for them to do so. Now that's hard because that takes work. So they retreat back to their comfort zone instead of breaking through it and pushing past it and being inspired. Had she put all that work into writing that 300, word essay into making videos similar than mine with 20 plus years experience, I'm sure she could just turn on the camera and wing it and it would be great. She could have reached more people and she probably would have had a better business. She was letting the fear of rejection get in the way of becoming her 2.0 self. Now, I'm not saying every single person has to post videos. I'm not saying every person has to make a business. But if you are gonna put yourself out there and do something great, understand that people are gonna project onto you all their insecurities, all their fears, all their just like negative vomit just coming at you. You have to have the boundary to not let it get to you. That's actually your job, not theirs. You're letting the fear of regret trump the fear of rejection, baby. That's some 2.0. Before we get too far, I wanted to make an announcement. Not a sponsorship. We self-sponsor every video. You're welcome. You like some free stuff? Who doesn't? Well, I just launched a new free mini course that actually has a few workshops in there that will help you and guide you to creating this 2.0 version. All you have to do is put in your best email. Don't worry, we're not gonna spam you. It'll get sent straight to your inbox. We're gonna start the email list up again as well. It's an added benefit of signing up for it. You can unsubscribe whenever you want, but I'll probably send you a few updates like when we launch new videos, cool behind the scenes info as well. Probably won't keep it up forever, so if you want it, that sounds cool, you're like, hell yeah, I want some help creating the 2.0 me, click that link after this video. Two more for you. Here's another thing I've realized with people. You have to understand that there is what is called an adaptation period for any. Think of a thermostat. It has a homeostatic set point, 68 degrees, whatever you set it to. Anytime it goes above 70, it's gonna kick on, try and bring it down to 68. Anytime it drops below 68, it's gonna kick on, bring it up to 68. It's keeping your apartment, your house in a nice, cool homeostatic set point. You follow? We have that same homeostatic set point with people in our lives. Some of you know my story. I was a professional drummer. Still am, but the whole shutdown made things and touring kind of tough. So I love following bands. I'm a huge fan of it, like the Warped Tour scene, metalcore, hardcore, pop punk, all that. I love when a band evolves, pushes the envelope, tries to change their sound, tries something different. But when I go to the comments, people don't like change. They have a homeostatic set point that they want the band to stay in. Their little box, don't go too different, don't go too progressive, don't push the envelope. And when a band tries to, the comments on their Facebook page, man, are they just ripping. What is this garbage? You sold out. Your first album was better, man. I've been in the space long enough to see a pattern. Take a 10-year window, a band changes their sound, let's say 4 times. Every single time they launch a new album that sounds different, people are gonna hate on. But what's funny on like shift 3 and 4, people in the comments, they're asking for the sound on shifts 1 and 2. People don't like change. Meanwhile, the sound change is actually working for the band if they're successful in doing it correctly, because they're playing bigger and bigger shows, arenas, festivals. Clearly it's working. So back to you. When you're trying to go after the 2.0 version of you and make some big changes, people are gonna try and keep you in that homeostatic identity that you have, the 1.0. Breaking past it's gonna cause them, just like the hate comments on the band videos, to look at your sound change and be like, what? And it's kind of expected. I mean, honestly, like if you're posting personal content, you've always been posting personal content, and the next day you totally start going in like holistic health direction and posting videos about eating healthy, moving, all this, it's different for people. It's gonna take them a while to adjust. There might not be a delay time for you shifting into the 2.0 version, but there is for other people accepting. This is me speaking from experience. This whole YouTube channel, when I first started it, people in college, they started laughing and criticizing me. Given some of my videos were cringe, but you know, there was this whole blog dedicated to like tearing it down. Sometimes people would come up to me and be like, oh, aren't you that guy on YouTube? Like sick videos, man, and kind of laugh about it. Yeah, it kind of sucked. But again, I knew that the fear of regret outweighed rejection, so I kept posting. As videos started getting better and better and we started getting more and more success, people started coming around. They started respecting it. That's just what Clark does now. He's a YouTuber, that's who he is. Then the kicker is that now I'll get like DMs from some of those same people, right? Asking me for advice on their own channels, asking me for advice on their own business. I wish I understood this earlier, that effort is the universal currency of respect. When you put in effort to what you do, to the shifts, if you just keep going, people eventually start to respect it. Don't expect respect when you've only posted like 2, 3, 4, 5 times. When you've only been to the gym for 2 weeks. When you start getting all these big ideas in your head about creating the 2.0 you and evolving and raising your vibe, and you just want to share it with someone, and it's the first time you're ever talking about it. Because again, people have a box that they've put you in that identity. And when you're breaking out of it, it's gonna take them a while to adapt. But if you keep putting in effort and you're consistent, eventually they'll come around and they have no other choice but to accept that's just the new version of you. That's who you are. Here's the thing, you really only have one final option, and that is to get over it. You gotta take action in spite of fear, not operate from it. When I say get over it, let's go deeper. If you watch this channel more than this video, you'll know that you have over 60,000 thoughts a day, and there's something called a negativity sway bias built in to the hardware of your brain. It's controlled by your reticular activating system. This is deep reptilian, and it's to keep you alive and make you survive. You can't focus on all the stimuli in the world right now. It's just too overwhelming, so you have selective focus. Not to be confused with selective hearing that my girlfriend says I have. What's that, babe? You've asked me 7 times? Yeah, you've asked me 7 times. I get it. The unfortunate truth, and I wish I had the answer to this, is that negativity weighs pounds and positivity weighs ounces. You can hear 100 great things about you, but man, if there's one thing that sucks, that's what we focus on, isn't it? One bad comment, one bad event can ruin an entire day. It's because you have a negativity sway bias, you're more primed to look out for danger or things that spike a sympathetic nervous system response for you. Danger, like focus on that, don't go there. That's a survival mechanism. That's what fear is. It's running the script. But here's the thing, every single person has that built in, myself included. I've had to consciously blunt that part of my brain in order for me to keep going so I can earn the respect, so I can earn the leadership role that I'm in. Because guess what? When you get over this and take action in spite of it, you're actually someone worth respecting. That's a hard thing to do. The most successful people I hang around, they don't give a shit about comments or views or how many hearts they have on a post, how many subscribers. All those numbers are arbitrary. They really mean nothing. Oh, this post got 20 likes. I'm not gonna do that again. Yeah, it's data. You can base decisions on it, but it doesn't crush you. You keep going. You have to put blinders on to your vision, to your 2.0 identity, to your true north. Don't value the opinions of others you don't respect. Have compassion for people at a lower frequency. Understand that regret is scarier and should be to you than rejection. There's an adaptation period for any sort of change that's built into us as humans. And if you want to really create the 2.0 you, put yourself out there, go for it. You just gotta get over it. Whew! There's your pep talk for the day. See you in the next one. Stop settling, start living. See ya.